Well, it's Thursday, and you know what that means. It's time for our weekly tech report. And there is a lot coming out of the tech world this week, so let's get straight to it. Joining me today is Carl Franzen. He's a reporter from The Verge. All right, first topic, CISPA, and this one is a doozy, Carl. A last-minute amendment to the Cyber Intelligence Sharing and Protection Act was blocked by members of the U.S. House of Representatives. The amendment would have essentially banned employers from forcing workers to hand over all of their social media passwords. The provision was actually proposed by Congressman Ed Perlmutter and was voted down 224 to 189. What does this mean for employees?
Sure. That's a great question. I think that when we look at the social media laws that have been passed so far in different states, it seems like they were trying to do something similar here on CISPA and tack that on to the end. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. It doesn't look like the actual bill itself is going to move much further than it has already. It's already passed the House of Representatives, but it still needs to go through the Senate, get passed there, and then to President Obama's desk. And the Obama administration has already issued a very strong statement of administration policy, is what they're called. And this basically says that, CISPA in its current form is not something that the president will be signing. In fact, he would veto it if it came to his desk because it does not contain strong enough privacy protections. So not only that, but we've also heard indications today. There was a representative, spokesperson, I should say, from the Senate Committee on Commerce and Science and Transportation, which would be the one in charge of the Senate version of CISPA. And that person spoke to several media outlets, including U.S. News and World Report, and said that the Senate doesn't seem to have any intention of picking up CISPA in its current form. So it seems like we might end up with a similar situation to what we had last year in 2012 when CISPA also passed the House, but it just did not move on to the Senate or ever to the president's desk. So it looks like it might just stall out again.
Yeah, and he always has the veto power. Now, let's go back to this topic of being able to access passwords. I understand that several states already banned this practice. Was it struck down because it was such a last-minute ad, or because it's something that the states would deal with, or because Congress members really believe that employers should have unabridged access to workers' lives?
Well, it's an interesting issue, and I think it is one that people are increasingly going to have to grapple with, both on the state and federal level. Lawmakers themselves, but also big companies like Facebook and Twitter and other social networks that people use a lot more nowadays. But so far it seems like the federal government has taken a hands-off approach. This was an interesting, last-minute addition or curveball. There's been some attempts also previously last year. I believe Senator Blumenthal may have introduced a similar bill on its own, but don't quote me on that. That could be incorrect. I haven't checked in a little while. But point is that people are attacking it from all levels of government. It seems like that's going to be something that they will look into on the federal level, if not in CISPA, in another form, perhaps separately.
All right, so let's move on to the next topic up for debate. A possible update to the Electronic Communications Privacy Act of 1986. The House and the Senate have taken up legislation. They are taking it up next week. They've already debated it to require police to obtain a warrant in order to search email and other private online content. The current ECPA law only requires a subpoena for all emails that have been opened or for those that are more than 180 days old. How likely is this reform to pass through both branches?
Again, we're seeing an issue that was similar to what we saw last year. The ECPA, or ECPA, it's a hard one to pronounce because it is, just a bunch of letters mashed up there. But we saw a similar issue last year where it got through the same committee that it did today, the Senate Judiciary Committee, which is chaired by Patrick Leahy, the Democratic senator of Vermont. And now this bill is basically his baby. I mean, he's been trying to push this for I would say about 2 or 3 years now. So last year he managed to get it through his own committee, which was a mild success. He's done it again this year. Again, we'll see if the rest of the Senate decides to move forward on it. It does have the strong backing of privacy advocates like the Electronic Frontier Foundation and Google. The the search company or the internet company. So there's a lot of people outside of government that do want to see this go through and believe that it is necessary to keep emails and other electronic communications secure and really
Carl,
treat them. And
let's move on one more time to the final topic. Senator Jay Rockefeller said this week that legislation for the do not track option for internet users will pass this year. This option would penalize businesses for ignoring consumer wishes to not be tracked online. But Carl, everyone thinks that this is a good thing. The only debate is whether they should have to click a button to say, I do not want to be tracked, or whether it should just be automatic. So what is taking so long for this to pass?
You know, it is a great question. It's funny that you say that. We were having this debate over at the Verge New York City office earlier today about what the holdup might be. It has been a long time coming. I think that a lot of what has emerged, at least publicly at this point, is that advertising companies, online advertisers, and their associations are a bit resistant to really endorsing this wholeheartedly. I mean, a lot of them did come on board when it was first introduced, but now they're trying to water it down and say that, there should be exceptions in this or that case because they do want to be able to deliver targeted advertising through web browsing histories and your activity online so that when
I'm going to have to end it there. Unfortunately, we are out of time. This is a fascinating discussion. Carl Franzen, reporter from The Verge.